Good morning, Team Alabama. We are ready for Don't You Dare Read This, Mrs. Dunphrey. Please find page 91 on your Chromebook. Page 91, March the 5th. Remember, how long has Mom been gone? When did she leave? February the 12th. So we're now almost 1 month later, March the 5th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. This is due next period, so I have about 45 minutes to decide whether I'm going to hand it in or not. It's such a crazy thing to worry about. I mean, I've never in my life done homework for any reason except to hand it in, and a lot of times I don't even do it then. Ha ha. I just don't want Mrs. Dunphrey accidentally reading this. I could be like Sandy and just skip it, but I keep telling Matt to act normal, like nothing's changed, so no one gets suspicious. I've always handed this journal in. If I don't, will Mrs. Dunphrey start getting nosy? I wish I could decide something. Why do even stupid things like this have to be so hard now? March the 9th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. Oh, great. That was really bright of me. I decided not to hand this in, so of course Mrs. Dunphrey had to ask me to stay after class on Monday. She started doing this whole concerned teacher routine about how she recognized that I could be a little erratic. Okay, that's a great vocab word. Let's add that. Erratic means kind of sporadic or off-kilter or not totally consistent. Not consistent is probably the best way. And you can always look up the dictionary definition of that. Erratic with my work sometimes, but I'd always been faithful handing in my journal. Was there something wrong? Was there anything I wanted to talk about? So the teacher's asking her this. She's starting to kind of figure something out. I gave her this big story about how silly me, I'd just forgotten to hand the notebook in on Friday, and I didn't remember until Saturday when I saw it still in my stack of school books on my desk at home. I gave her the notebook and flipped through the pages for her real quick so she couldn't read anything, and she said, "Wow, you really did write a lot. 6 entries, and almost all of them extremely long." I must say I was a great liar. I acted so worried that I'd forgotten to hand it in that when I had done all the work, Mrs. Dunphrey ended up telling me that she'd give me partial credit because I had written so much, but that she had to take off something for it being late. Then she gave me this little lecture about how she was sure I was capable of much better work than I was actually doing in her class. Geez, Mrs. Dunphrey, chill. How can you care so much about something as stupid as this journal or my grades? I mean, you're lucky I even bothered to show up for class. School ranks about 1001 on my list of concerns. I have been thinking lately, maybe the answer to all Matt and my money problem is for me to drop out of school. What am I getting out of school anyhow? All this time I am sitting in worthless classes. I could be earning money. I sure don't love my job at the Burger Boy, but if I went to full-time there, I wouldn't have to worry so much about the bills. It seems like every single one of them is due next week. What happens if they don't get paid? Would the electric company shut off the heat? It's been really cold lately. I mean, Matt and I could freeze. March 11th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. Do you know how stupid the world is? I went into Mr. Seagrave this afternoon and I told him what I wrote about Tuesday. I mean, I sure didn't say I was worried about paying the bills because Mom left us, but I did say I wasn't getting anything out of school and I was thinking about dropping out so I could work full-time at the Burger Boy, and he got this real serious look on his face and he said, "Tish, you can't do that." That made me mad right off. I was expecting this big lecture about how no one should drop out of school. I was ready to say that what I did with my life was my business. And if I wanted to drop out, that was my problem, not his. But he didn't say anything about how it was bad to drop out of school. Instead, he said Burger Boy had a policy that it wouldn't hire people without high school diplomas. Wait a minute, I said. I don't have a diploma, and I've been working here since I turned 15. And then he explained how that was different. Obviously, teenagers working part-time wouldn't have their diplomas. But for adult full-time employees, Burger Boy expected a certain level of educational achievement. And that level included, at the very least, a high school diploma. I couldn't help getting smart-alecky. And I think I said something like, "How would a high school diploma help me flip burgers?" Since when does it take 12 years of school to know how to clean a toilet? I have to say, Mr. Seagrave was real patient. He never once resorted to that adult trick of saying, "You'll understand when you're older." I think he knows the rules are stupid too. But none of this solves our problems. Tonight I yelled at Matt for leaving the light on in his room while he was in the living room watching TV. "We can't pay for all that energy," I told him. I got him so scared that he started to cry, and then I felt bad. What's one more light? With what I've saved out of my Burger Boy checks since last month, we can barely pay the $20 water bill, let alone anything else. We might as well enjoy ourselves. I told Matt, "Go ahead, turn everything on." I went around flipping switches. I turned on all of our lights and all our radios and everything electric. I even turned on the fan, even though it's freezing outside. That little tantrum scared Matt too. He just cried harder. Okay, why don't you add tantrum as a vocab word? And it means a fit. Normally 2-year-olds throw tantrums. Like when they don't get their way, they throw a fit, or they have this kind of freak out moment where they just are mad because they don't get their way. That's a tantrum. I don't know what to do. If I didn't have to act grown up for Matt, I think I'd cry too. March the 15th. How long's Mom been gone? Quite a long time. What's going to happen next? How does Tish get help? Ask yourself some questions. Write those questions down. We need at least 10. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. I called the electric company today and made up this story about how I just lost my job and I wasn't going to be able to pay my bill this month. And I didn't give my name or anything, and I tried to sound like a grown-up, and I got transferred about 6 times until finally I got some kind of caseworker, and she asked why I wasn't getting unemployment. I said, "I don't know." Pretty dumb answer, huh? And then she started giving me the names of all the agencies and stuff that could help me. And she was all ready to arrange appointments for me. And she kept asking my name so that she could make the appointments. And I was getting pretty panicked and was about to hang up. And I started thinking, what if they trace their calls? If it happens on TV all the time, and then suddenly she put me on hold for a minute and someone else picked up the phone and I told my made-up story again. And this time the woman said, "Honey, I'm not supposed to be telling people this, but I know how things can be. If you just send in any money, $5 say, that establishes what we call an intent to pay, and we won't cut off the service. Then, when you're back on your feet, you can catch up your payments." I was so happy, I probably told that woman thank you about 60 times. She practically had to hang up to get me to stop. I have enough money to send $5 for each of the bills, and I hope the phone company and everyone else does business like the electric company. But the electric's the most important. It got down to 15 degrees last night. Why can't it be warm? I might as well ask, why can't I have normal parents who stay with their kids and take care of their bills themselves? Why can't Grandma still be alive? March the 17th. Don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. Page 96. I sent back all the bills with $5 in each. Everything seems to be going okay now. It's even getting warmer. I forgot to wear green for St. Patrick's Day, and Roger Amway pinched me hard, but who cares? Matt was smart enough to remember what day it was, and he said nobody pinched him at school because he put some green marker on his hand. Who needs Mom? Who needs Dad? We're doing fine, just Matt and me. Tish, I'm good. I'm glad you remembered to hand this in. Would you mind letting me read one of your entries again soon? So at the very bottom is the note from the teacher. Page 97, March the 24th. I know you want to read, don't read this, Mrs. Dunphrey. I know you want to read another entry, but hey, I don't have the time to make up something else. I don't know why I bother writing in here at all, except that now it kind of seems like this journal is my friend. And at the moment, I really don't have any others. Sandy and Rochelle are real mad at me. We got in this big fight at school on Friday because I said I couldn't go to the mall with them that night. And they said all I do anymore is work or stay with Matt. What's so exciting about an 8-year-old? Sandy asked, and then Rochelle had to say something really mean. Maybe Tish likes younger men. And Sandy said, maybe she's got something else going on. Who is it, Tish? Roger Amway, Bud Turner, both? How many guys are you? I should have just walked away. That's what Grandma would have told me to do, but not me. I had to go and slug Sandy. She just makes me mad. Her parents give her everything, and she acts like it's nothing. And then she goes and makes fun of me and Chastity because we don't have as nice a clothes or anything. Well, anyway, I hit her pretty hard, and then she hit me back, and Rochelle was kind of helping. Really, all Sandy did was scratch. She's such a sissy. But then she yelled out, loud enough for everyone in the cafeteria to hear, "Nobody screw you. You stink so bad." "What do you mean?" I said. "She means you stink," Rochelle said. "P.U. When was the last time you took a shower?" I'd taken a shower that morning, but it was about the 6th time that I'd worn my jeans and sweatshirt without washing them because I never have time to do the laundry. That was the one thing Mom did do usually. Do I really stink? I didn't care then. I just wanted to shut Rochelle and Sandy up, and I started hitting both of them at once, frantic-like some speeded-up cartoon character, and they backed off a little, but not before Mr. Tremont came over saying, "What is this, a cat fight? Is there trouble in the gum-cracking brigade?" He acted like the whole thing was a joke, but he made all 3 of us go down to the office, and we all got a week's detention. So Matt has to walk home by himself all this week, and I had to get some of my hours changed at the Burger Boy. That means even less money. Sandy and Rochelle still aren't talking to me, and I sure don't want to talk to them. If they're going to be so mean, since Chastity's been out sick all week, I don't have anyone to hang out with. But you know what? It felt real good to haul off and hit Sandy and Rochelle. I wish I'd hit them each about 10 more times. Okay, Team Alabama, let's add some facts or some questions. What did you just learn? What are some new things that you learned? Know that this same strategy is something that you may use in high school when you get to like a class like biology or chemistry or something where you're reading a chapter. You would take notes on the new things you learn and ask yourselves questions. Have a great rest of your day. Make sure you're getting close to those 50 facts. If not, please try to add some more.